and real interpreter and half-baked Tai Chi master.
So, welcome everybody. My name is Dwayne. Some of us might refer to me as Sifu. I'm the teacher, principal of Jingle Academy. This is where we are, every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. It is my pleasure and a privilege to sponsor Master Chen, who is our international standard bearer of Chen style Tai Chi practical method, and our head instructor of Dachuan, which is our headquarters for practical method in China, Mr. Chen Xu, here to Australia. Alright, so before we begin, let's get some housekeeping done for those of us in particular who don't come here often. The ladies is to your right, the gents is to your left, and of course there are exit signs everywhere, and if in the event we need to muster together, we're actually the muster point is the grassed area on the other side of the building beside us. Okay? Alright. So, I invite you all just to join with me, please, in taking a moment to acknowledge the traditional owners of the land that we share here tonight. Thank you. Alright, so I'll hand the floor over to Master Chen. Can I ask the two gents who can sing, Lee and Brad, come this way, please, and join us?
First of all, thank you for your introduction, and thank you for inviting me to Australia, Sifu Xiu. Thank you for coming to this introduction to Chen style Tai Chi Chuan practical method. The Chen style Tai Chi Chuan practical method is one of the many things Sifu Xiu teaches in his Jingmu Academy. And this evening we're going to go about it and give you a brief introduction in a few ways. One is introduction verbally by me, and then we're going to do some hands-on work. And then I'll leave some time for you to ask questions.
Excuse me, Master Chen, may I interrupt, please? Can I just ask everyone to shut the floor, quick your chairs, please come.
Jun is the son of Sifu Xiu. He's an instructor of the school here, and he also started practical method several years ago. And this year, he spent 3 months on Dachuan practicing full time. Just returned 2 weeks ago. So the first choreographed form is designed to put the foundations together, so the movements are slow, careful, calculated, so that you are learning exactly what things are, and learning the alignment, the precision, and the timing. And then in canvas, you are learning choreographed method of application, so you can vary the speed and go fast and powerful. So you can see there are kicks, and there are a lot of whole body movements, turning, the usage of waist, elbows, and Tai Chi is designed to train your entire body. Particularly, you can see from the movements that every joint must be opened, twisted, and exercised. And also, through Jung's Yilu form, you can see balance is a very big thing here. He always keeps a very centralized position. The body is always erect and not leaning forward and not leaning backward, not collapsing in any part of the body. So in Tai Chi treatise, we say that the body acts as a united ball, that there is no deficiency and that there is no excess. Great. Okay, ground track. Thank you.尽量做好自己决定。 So I told him to pick whatever part he wants to, and the whole system will take too long. So he will do some parts of the candidates. Tai Chi is the head instructor on Tai Chi Shan at my school in the training center. He started learning 4 years ago, so this is his 5th year. Going full-time for the 2nd year. Before that, he was a full-time employee on the train in the morning and at night. So you can see only by this time, at this level, things start to look a little bit normal. But he's much freer to make moves. The first few stages, you're in a very controlled environment. It's like the environment where you're just copying ABCs, and then later on you start to write. And this is writing an article and freely engaging in a discussion. Before, we're just trying to remember things and trying to do what you're told to. Then people will start getting engaged in push hands and fighting, and at the same time, their weapons forms. Weapon forms, there are 2 big reasons for them. Number 1 is a weapon is an extension of your arm. Things that you cannot do with your arm are too far, then you need a weapon. And then again, the weapon, there are 2 types. One is you hold it, another you throw it. And if you throw it, then you reach another distance. But the problem is it's difficult to control. Once it's gone, you won't come back, such as an arrow. The second reason for training weapons is that in addition to the reach that you achieve with a weapon is very heavy, and the training makes your arm, your movements carry weight, gives you more power. So it's weight training to make your body more solid. After that, it's the push-ins. So Yonghuang means applications. So in applications, you have the fixed patterns to train the drills, and then you have a moving loose fixed step, meaning the 2 people will engage in a simulated fight for balance, and you're not moving your feet. So it's not a real fight, it's just a fight for balance. Whoever loses balance loses. And then it's moving step, and whoever is knocked down while you have a restricted area, but your feet are totally free. And then the third level it's called sancho. It means free fighting, loose steps, and do whatever you will. And that part is very, very difficult to achieve, and we do not encourage that kind of training, because all the choreographed forms, movements, in Tai Chi are designed to kill someone. And it's not a sport. So in a sport, your job is to score. In a martial art, your job is to kill. And Tai Chi requires that traditionally Tai Chi requires that you never show anybody anything. And the same as the sword. So in the Chinese tradition, you never draw the sword. Whatever your challenger is saying, you keep quiet and be patient. Because if you take the sword out of the sheath, it has to kill. Otherwise, you cannot return it to the sheath. So there are some traditional things, and we do not have to follow them today because we live in a different world. But the training of Tai Chi application is very difficult because they were designed to cause harm. And so in modern times, we come up with exercises of neutralization, of balance, so that you can feel that you're engaging in a physical form of exercise without hurting anybody. And they appear to be quite real, but they're not real. Because in real combat, you're not knocking your opponent down, you're not throwing him, you want to break his bones and kill him. And so later on, we'll do a little bit of questions for you to see. So far, do you have any questions? So I am just theoretically talking about the contents of Tai Chi. Yes?
Can you teach the sword forms?
Yes. Any other questions? So Tai Chi, the name of Tai Chi Chuan, Tai Chi as a martial art, came about around 1700, late Ming Dynasty, early Qing Dynasty in Chinese history. To today, there's a history of about 450 years. But the real Tai Chi has been in existence for probably over 2,000–3,000 years. Right from the very beginning, the entire Chinese nation took on at the very beginning a guiding principle of yin and yang. That's why out of that land of China, we have Taoism. Taoism is based on the separation of yin and yang. Everything has two aspects, and each aspect has two. So it's very similar, actually. It never became a religion because it's a way of life, it's a way of looking at things. And so there is, so to speak, there is a lot of talk today about politics and life in China, that it's very easy for Chinese people to lose their center. The reason is because when a religion comes, they say, wow, that's great, because humans have an innate ability to cling on to a religion. The Chinese never created a philosophy, a way of looking at things. That's why we call it the overall thing, we say the Tao, the way things are. Our job is to observe and see and try to stay as close to the Tao as possible. We never named it this one or that one. And the desire to have a religion was always there. So only about 1,000 years ago, a man decided to take over the government, and he used Taoism as his cover. And then he made up all these gods' names, and this one never really lasted. And because it became utility, became used by an ambitious person. So Taoism, out of Taoism, we have the Chinese way of life, Chinese culture, and Chinese way of fighting, which is Tai Chi. To have this form firmly and physically named Tai Chi, that occurred in 1770 something by a man called Chen Wangting. He was the 9th generation family member of the Chen family of a village called Chen Village in Henan province, central China. And after that, people knew this form as Tai Chi. Prior to that, we said in the forms area here, the second form, 64 moves, was called the Cannon Fist. It wasn't called Tai Chi number 1, Tai Chi number 2. And so till today, there's still controversy that maybe the real Tai Chi is not like this. Maybe it's like this. And people always want to imagine things. So Tai Chi became a form of martial art about 400 years ago. And till today, in terms of the lineage, I'm the 19th generation. In terms of the family lineage, outside of China, of the Chen village, we recalculate because Chen Wangting was the 9th generation. So if we count him as the first generation Chen Tai Chi master, then I'm the 11th generation. And so my disciples are the 12th generation. Originally, when I started, I was the 19th. So if you think the number is bigger, it's good, or maybe smaller is good, for me, I don't care. So this is the lineage, and out of this lineage, now we have Yang style Tai Chi, and most people probably are familiar with the Yang style. And then you have the Wu style, it's a family name. The other one is also Wu style, but that Wu means martial styles. And then the last form to be created was called the Sun style. So altogether there are 5 styles. Today in China there are millions of styles, but historically there are only 5 styles of Tai Chi. All 5 subscribe to the same principle. And if you want to put it very, very simply, Tai Chi is the art of the yin and yang. And in action, it moves in spirals. Spiral is the separation of the yin and yang. So any questions regarding the lineage, the theory, contents? Yes?
To relate back to form, how does the breath relate to when you're doing form?
How does
the breath relate?
Breath.
Yeah, is there a certain...
Don't stop breathing.
Yeah.
And don't breathe too much.
Yep.
No, it's not natural breathing. At the very beginning, you are too busy learning the choreography. Don't think about breathing. Because in learning, Tai Chi is very, very comprehensive. There are many, many aspects. So far, I only talked about what Tai Chi is. In addition to Tai Chi, not outside of Tai Chi, once you know the choreography, and you can do the choreography backward, forward, right in the middle, and while reading, while like me watching TV. So I did my, because there is a requirement, you have to do 10,000 repetitions of Yilu before you advance to the second phase. And I did not have enough time. So I would watch the news and do the form, and then watch the news and do the foundations. You saw the foundations, you don't have to move. So I just stand like this here and put the TV in front and did my half an hour. And, but in any case, it means when your form is remembered in a way that you don't have to use any resources, it's all natural, then you can put in breathing. There's more than that. There's energy alignment, how to conduct your energy, and how to move your energy, how to use your breathing, and how to use your intent, and how to use the meridians, and it's very complex. But what I do is that I don't want to go into anything that you cannot physically touch and experiment with. So all others we use this here, that's called utilizing it, how to put it into action. And only when you reach a level, you can deal with all of that yourself. Because at that level, the reason you can is because you are very assured of yourself. You are very confident what you are doing. You know that what you are doing is real. You have no delusions or illusions about anything. Then you can go and study that aspect. At the very beginning, we must get the physical things down-packed until you have no problems. And I had another question here. Yes?
Can you give us a quick explanation of the main difference between classical method and the other traditional 4 styles?
It's very difficult because we are talking about a martial art. And it's same as, let me tell you why it is difficult, because it's the same as saying, I'm Chinese and I live in Canada, so I have different perspectives. For me, like China is the country I grew up. I'm not going to say China is horrible. And from, let's say, a North American point of view, there are lots of things to be said about China. But from the Chinese point of view, there are lots of things to be said about America. But those are very touchy issues, and because they touch upon your lives. And we can talk about utopia, and we can all agree, and you can say, let's hell with utopia, because we don't live there. But if you are from there, it becomes very difficult. So, I do Chen style Tai Chi, and if you happen to do Yang style Tai Chi, and if I tell you Yang style Tai Chi is the best, you are very happy. And if I say it won't work, you're going to have an issue with that. So this is the problem, because the beauty of science is that science does not belong to you, does not belong to me. It belongs to an independent field. We are all part of the scientific community. We live and we benefit from it, or we are destroyed by it, and we can have a common view. But if you, let's say your last name is Smith, and if I decide, like Hitler, that I think we should get rid of Smiths, and then we got a problem. So this is the difficulty. But after telling you that, and you asked, and I'll give you an honest answer, is Chen style, the style I teach is authentic. And it's not good or bad, it's authentic. So the person I told you who created it was Chen Wangting. And his direct linear descendant, the one that's commonly regarded with no controversy, is called Chen Fa Ke. Chen Fa Ke lived from went to Beijing and started teaching in 1928. Went to Beijing in 1928, started teaching in 1930, and passed away in Beijing in 1957. During most of that time, my teacher was his disciple at his side. And most other styles, the learning from the Grandmaster was a very short visit. And then they went home and created a new style. No good or bad, it's just, it could be quite possible that you saw one thing and went home and became the greatest master. But in terms of the lineage, we're saying whether you are authentic, whether you are the real son. And if you are the real son, it does not mean you are the greatest human being. It just means you are real. And so you must understand, real does not equate to good, does not equate to the best. It just equates to real. And so the difference is this one is direct. The others might have a name that's direct, but the content is not like this. So, it's, as a teacher, you know that if he followed me for 4 years on the mountain in my school every day, and another teacher came for a 2-week thing and he became a great teacher, I'm not going to deny him. I'm not going to say it's wrong to do that, but I'm going to say 2 weeks means 2 weeks. And 4 years means 4 years. So, did I answer you? Yeah. Any other questions? So we're doing this ahead of time, and then Chen Xu and June will do some push hands with everybody. But tonight, the main focus is introduction, and the push hands is just like you to feel that what is so special about push hands. Why is it not wrestling? It looks like wrestling. Why do we do this? So it's what's so special? What's the special feeling here? No other questions? So no other questions. I'll turn the floor over to Sifu Xiu, and we'll do some physical experiences. Okay. Thank you.
So up on the floor so you can actually get moving and do some gentle Tai Chi foundation work first. And then those of us who wish to experience what it's like pushing against another person, then we'll do an exercise that will help you and introduce you to push hands as an exercise and a game of Tai Chi. How's that? Yeah? So, please, come forward as well. In this case, just if you can have a look at where I'm standing.
As well, when people are practicing how grounded they are, just keep the start down as soon as you stop. Just connect with
There's something tonight is stretching to empower you in the application. So in every move you must stretch. And once you know how to stretch, so we don't talk about flexibility, we talk about stretching. Then once you know how to stretch, then we say you can stretch from here to there, then you can stretch from there to here, or you can stretch from the middle to both two ends. And so they power you differently. They give you different powers in your fighting. And then later on, when you automatically can stretch, we call that Peng energy. So the central focus of Tai Chi is to, through the practice of the form and the foundations, to create Peng energy. It means there is a power inside your body that is like inflated tire, that you don't have to do anything. Anybody punches it, it will bounce back. And then you hit with it. So it's Peng energy is in a very simple way means your body must always be charged. It's like your gun is always loaded. No Peng means you have to do everything when something happens. And that is the result of stretching. So stretching is primary in Chen style Tai Chi Chuan. Okay. Any? Yeah, it is. I don't know enough about yoga, and I don't know people who know it well to make a comparison. So it would be a good thing to do some research and compare.
Cool, thank you.
Yeah, I've done a bit of yoga myself, and it feels like the Tai Chi, this foundational movements, kind of like you're wringing the cow. It's like you're creating that stretch and stretching the tension in your body so that it becomes like steel, I guess. And it's like so you can become softer, and the energy's already there. But yeah, that's just. Oh, sorry. Is it when you're doing that into the body? Is there tension in the arms, or is it all kind of coming from the pelvis?
What we want to achieve by doing the foundational exercises is to make every body part very, very strong like steel. At the same time, make every joint very loose like in a machine. So we want to reverse your body. We always want to use the body parts to move. We, in Tai Chi, only allow the joints to move. Body parts must remain still. And that's why the movement, the stillness in motion. The motion part must come from something loose. Only the joints can come loose. If your bones become loose, you're in big trouble. And we don't pay attention. If you go very carefully, we actually try to move our body parts. When you try that, it's detrimental to your health. So we want all the fixed parts, pieces, to be very strong. It's like a bicycle chain. Every piece of the chain is made of steel. But because every piece and every other piece, the way they connect with the joint can move. The piece itself cannot move. If the piece moves, it has to break. And so that's the mode of operation for Tai Chi. So you see here, my forearm all the way to my finger is totally locked. All actions come from the elbow. Can you see the elbow is doing it? And then if that's not enough, all actions will come from my shoulder. And that's still not enough, come from my body, my quad, everything. So if you watch carefully, the body is very still, and the joints will create the movements. Otherwise, you are doing this. When you do this, you are trying to loosen your strong pieces. You do not try to loosen steel. You try to create movements with the joints. So joints are very important. Humans physically, not a disease, but physical shape will deteriorate because of joints. When you become older, what's the sign? Becoming stiff. What's stiff? The joints are having or starting to have arthritis, not moving, not smooth anymore. So you very rarely, bone density is a big issue. And if bone density is an issue, it's a disease, maybe because of something, your density is not good. But everybody starts to have arthritis with joints. So Chen Tai Chi is designed to grind you, to make you exercise your joints all the time. So when you become very old, your joints are very loose. Your joints are fluid, or filled with the fluid, and fully charged. Let's continue.
It looks as though we're trying to push each other, but we're not. Okay? So if I can just have Jules for a moment. All we're doing is learning how. There's no force.
So you imagine the two hands are tied up with, let's say, Velcro. And you don't have to worry about here anymore. And when he pushes, you use the elbow to butt for that. You never fight here anymore. And then if there's more, you use the quad to reduce it. And so everybody, both of you are exercising the joints, and all the hard parts are just there. So that's the
Would you like to try that?
idea. So you want to draw a very big circle. And if you want to unbalance him, you use a strategy of, you can see he's totally okay here, use a strategy of misleading him this way. Now he's trapped and lose balance, and there is no fight. It's just you cannot turn it over anymore.
Does that make sense? Would you like to have a go? Those who would like to have a go, find a partner, please.
Okay. Do large circles.
can alternate where the energy goes.
Okay, good work there.
I don't get to use it, and you got me already. So that's what we want to create in doing Tai Chi. Okay, this time I think she's very agile. She might get you first. See, I know you. She's very strong. Agile. Good Tai Chi combination.
Oh.
You deal with a lady, the method is to hop, that's good. Usually use a soft move and take her down with a kiss. Or threaten her with a kiss. Now she can.
I'm sure if she gets the opportunity, she's not going to take him down with a kiss.
That's all you think. You want to be careful. Watch out. Very good. So you can see the usage of trying to live for space, trying to stick with each other, and trying not to allow the opponent to issue power. So we say water-like movements to gain position. Okay, almost there. Very good. And then a little bit of two-stepping there. That's very good. She got out of it. So she's very fluid. That's almost like a kiss. Energy, it means you want to use a range so close that your opponent does not know what to do. Because we're used to long range, you can punch, you can step back and kick, and then mid-range like wrestling, and the Tai Chi is close body encounters with aliens. And you get so close, the person just feels like, oh, what do I do? It's like, this guy is like glue, is like molasses. He's just like honey. And he's like, on me, I have to go use water to rinse him off. Otherwise, just can't shake him off. So that is one of the things we do in Tai Chi. Okay, next.
Anyone else that hasn't pushed before the Joe?
So try.